Life in rural America during the 1930s looked bleak. America was trying to rebound from the devastating Great Depression. At a time when 90% of the nation's urban population had electricity in their homes, only 1 in every 10 rural Americans had electric service. Chores on the farm and in the home were especially a struggle, causing many to leave life on the farm for the lights of the city. The power companies felt the low population densities of the nation's rural communities would not yield the type of profits they needed to justify their operating costs. Electric cooperatives are private, independent electric utilities owned by the members they serve. Democratically governed businesses that are anchored firmly in the community they serve, which ensures they are closely regulated by their consumers. In 1936, people interested in bringing electricity to their homes and farms by forming an electric cooperative met at the Warren County Courthouse in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Each resident would have to accept membership, agree to install proper wiring in the home, and be willing to pay for the power consumed. After months and months of hard work, there was enough support to guarantee at least 3 members for each mile of power line over an initial network of 130 miles. There was still that $35 filing fee that had to be paid to the state of Kentucky to incorporate Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation. 7 men shelled out $5 each to cover the filing fee. These men would become the first board of directors. The Articles of Incorporation was signed by the board on March 31, 1938, and filed in Frankfort on April 6th. On August 30, 1938, Lester Wright resigned as a board member to become the cooperative's first general manager. The switch was flipped on March 3, 1939, and electricity was brought to 325 homes along the Warren RECC network of power lines. Electricity eased many of the burdens for rural life. Electricity was not simply an added convenience for rural South Central Kentuckians. It helped make them more productive and dramatically improve their quality of life. If these men only knew what would take place over the next 75 years.
I wired this house here back when the REA first started through Warren County, and I was working for a fellow by the name of Horace Decker at the time. And I made a lot of money. I made 10 cents an hour wiring this house. But this was the first house that was wired, and we had a lot of trouble getting it wired to pass the inspection. We do a little work out here, we go back to town, and we find out what was doing wrong. We come back and correct it.
Former Kentucky Governor and U.S. Senator Wendell H. Ford describes the importance of electric cooperatives and what they brought to rural Kentucky.
The opportunities in rural Kentucky were the same as those in the cities. We could switch the lights on, we could have the energy, we could have electric milkers for cows, or we could have workshops, opportunities for new businesses. Education was improved. If you just go back and look at what we had compared to what we have today, it's just amazing.
Under the direction of Mr. Wright, the organization had grown from the initial 130 miles of line serving 325 customers to over 500 miles of line serving 1,250 customers. After 10 years serving as Warren's general manager, Mr. Wright stepped down due to health reasons. Mrs. Ollie Mae Roberts would serve as interim general manager for a few months until September 15, 1948, when Charles M. Stewart, a Warren County native, was selected by the board as the new general manager. The cooperative continued expanding its service area under Mr. Stewart's leadership, bringing electricity to more and more people. But he didn't just make a difference for the members of the Warren RECC. Mr. Stewart was instrumental in the establishment of the Kentucky Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation, headquartered in Louisville, even serving as its first president. In the coming years, this organization would have a major impact on rural electric cooperatives across Kentucky. Besides promoting the rural electrification program on the state and national level, Charles Stewart was selected by the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association to conduct a feasibility study in the country of Ecuador. Mr. Stewart traveled to the South American country for 45 days in the early 1960s to help establish a rural electric cooperative there. 18 months later, he returned to Ecuador and attended the first annual meeting of the electric cooperative he had helped establish. Charles Stewart was the cooperative's longest-serving general manager, an office he held for 32 years, from 1948 to 1980.
Well, I think the major accomplishment was getting electric service to the rural area that never had it before. And not really many not realizing or not knowing what electric service could or would mean to them.
The growth during these early years was not only due to Warren RECC's leadership, but also due to the dedication of the employees. Employees that would serve the membership in rain, sleet, windy or freezing conditions, day or night, even on holidays. Employees like C.D. Buck Jenkins.
Yeah, my dad was Buck Jenkins, and regardless of which district it was, the phone number was our home phone number. Anytime a storm came up, I mean, it could be clear in Warren County, but it might be, Grayson County or Simpson County or something like that. There might have been a bad storm, and then our phone would start ringing, and Mom and Dad would jump into action.
And Harold Bradford, Warren RECC's first 50-year employee.
I came straight from high school in '53 to be a material clerk in the warehouse. And they told me, said, now you got this education, high school. And said, you'll never have to climb a pole. 2 weeks I was climbing poles. 2 weeks. And I started out as an apprentice lineman. Then Buck Jenkins had a service truck. When he came inside, I took his truck, or he gave me his truck. From there, I was foreman, and I climbed for 35 years, I believe. And then had an opportunity to come into the warehouse as a warehouse manager, and I did that. The co-op was considering security lights, but they didn't know whether they would sell. So J.R. Bittersworth Farm, Mr. Bittersworth, they asked him would he try one, and then we hung it at night. Like it wouldn't work in the daytime, so we hung it at night.
In January 1954, the Board of Directors approved a resolution authorizing $100,000 to be designated for a campaign to encourage members to install water systems financed through the cooperative. This was the beginning of the development of what would later prove to be one of the most beneficial projects for rural families. In October 1964, the first rural water district established in south central Kentucky was in the Richardsville community of Warren County. Other water districts in Warren County would include the North Side Water District, the Morgantown Road Water District, and the West Side Water District. Eventually, these would consolidate to form the Warren County Water District. Other counties which would benefit with water districts would include Simpson, Butler, and Grayson. Today, the Grayson County Water District is still managed by Warren RECC. Floyd H. Ellis was a state senator from Warren County and began serving on the cooperative's board in 1967. When Stewart announced he would retire in June of 1980, the board selected Ellis to succeed him. Senator Wendell Ford remembers the dedication of his longtime friend Floyd Hayes Ellis in offering products and services to improve the quality of life for Warren RECC members.
Floyd was very thorough. When Floyd came with some new experience, new product to be sold by REAs, a new adventure for REAs, new help for the community. He had it basically put together, and all people had to do was follow the formula that he laid down for them.
In October 1986, Warren RECC established the Information and Entertainment Cooperative, whose main purpose was to offer rural TV. Later, in 1994, the cooperative began offering direct TV programming services with 50 television channels. Growth and service to consumers led to the purchase of additional property in the Plum Springs community to house operations and warehouse facilities. On September 19, 1987, the facility was officially dedicated and named in honor of Buck Jenkins. The current company headquarters building in Bowling Green was built in 1996.
We've expanded our business to include things other than just electric power, natural gas, propane gas, total security program, life alerts. Whatever we felt would improve the quality of life for our members at the time are things we've been interested in, as long as we didn't jeopardize in any way the true meaning or true mission of our co-op, which is to provide power, electric power.
In 1998, TVA offered Warren RECC an option to change its current power contract from a rolling 10-year period to a rolling 5-year period, retroactive from October 1st, 1997. The board of directors approved the change, which would certainly have major implications on the cooperative's future. When Floyd H. Ellis retired in January 2000, he was succeeded by Gerald Hayes, who had worked for the cooperative since 1968. With 75% of every dollar going to pay TVA, his years of dedication to the members would serve Hayes well as Warren RECC explored its options in the search for less expensive power.
When we first decided to give notice to TVA, they took it lightly, but as time went on, they took it seriously because other utilities within the valley was considering the same thing. They were watching every move that we made, and it was critical at that time. And TVA saw that it was a critical move. Some people say that we were crazy in taking on that challenge, but we did. And our board members were behind us all the way. In the end, we stayed with TVA, and we're better off for it. And TVA is better off for what I feel that we did in that period of time.
Warren RECC reinstated a 10-year commitment with TVA, assuring the cooperative all the rights and privileges of all other TVA power distributors. One of the benefits of the return to TVA was the much-needed Meredith substation in Grayson County, which greatly increased reliability and reduced dependence from other power suppliers. Today, Warren RECC has 37 substations and 5 offices, located in Morgantown and Butler County, Litchfield and Grayson County, Franklin and Simpson County, and the headquarters at Bowling Green and Warren County, along with the Buck Jenkins Service Center in Plum Springs. Warren RECC has grown to serve over 61,000 members in South Central Kentucky. In keeping with Warren RECC's basic goal of improving the quality of life for those it serves, the cooperative recognized the importance of promoting industry to provide income for rural areas. Electricity, water service, sewer service, and industrial development all grew to meet the needs of the vast membership. In 1961, the cooperative partnered with the Bowling Green, Warren County Chamber of Commerce to establish an industrial foundation. Land was purchased, attracting several new industries, adding thousands of new jobs and millions of dollars to the local economy.
I know that Warren Rural Electric's philosophy is trying to provide the best quality of electric at the most affordable rates. So that has helped numerous companies within our region to locate industries that might not otherwise, strictly because of the utility rates. Having a cooperative, where that it is owned by the customers, I think that's important, and it's makes the county and the residents, especially the officials, feel more personally involved. What they have to offer in their professionalism and their technology and their expertise benefits a lot of counties that could not afford that service individually or independently.
When you're a cooperative, part of the challenge is making sure that everybody that uses our electricity understands that they are a member of a cooperative. The biggest challenge I see for us in the future in that regard is our younger people, younger generation, need to be educated more on what a cooperative is.
Our customer has changed. We are no longer, dealing with the majority of our members who remember when the lights were turned on. We're just something that they expect to be there when they flip the switch or need power. So I think we have to continue to tell our story about being a cooperative, an electric cooperative to our members, and so that we can enjoy the support that we've had in the past.
So when they sign up for a service and they become a member, they really need to be given information, shown information that says, here's how we are different. We are not the big investor-owned utility that has stockholders, that makes large profits. We are here as a membership corporation. We're here for you, and you are an owner of us, so you have a voice. So educating the younger generation on why we're better, why our business model is better, I think is vitally important, because otherwise the younger generation may lose the very benefit that their forefathers began.
Richardsville Elementary was rebuilt and opened in the fall of 2010. The goal for the school was to have sustainable and renewable energy while aligning with the students' science and math curriculums. It became the nation's first net zero school, meaning the school produces more energy than it uses. That success wouldn't have been possible without the partnership and knowledge of Warren RECC. Another way the cooperative helps educate the members is their safety trailer.
The Warren Rural Electric Safety Trailer came into existence in the fall of 2006. We typically do close to 2,000 people a year. Just about anybody that wants to see a show, we'll try to hook it up. Within doing 1,500 to 2,000 folks a year, and last year we did close to 2,500 people, we've done close to 15,000 people since the existence of the Warren Rural Electric Safety Trailer. And it's here for nothing more than to educate folks about the hazard of high voltage and the dangers. That's something that's so relevant to our everyday life that it can also be so dangerous to us every day.
When people would call, the dad would go over by the two-way radio, and mom would answer the phone. And if it was a storm, you just put the receiver down, pick it right back up, because there were just going to be call after call after call. And I remember a couple of ice storms. That was like a 24/7 thing for several days. And mom never complained. They knew their duties. The first storm after they retired, I called over there and I said, "What are y'all doing?" And they said, "We're just sitting in the living room enjoying this storm."
Always wanting to communicate information to the members, the cooperative began a weekly radio program on WKCT in Bowling Green in the 1950s. Improving communication with the employees was important as well.
We kept adding things to make service better. I can relate to that, like two-way radios. Until we bought two-way radios, we used yellow cabs, took them out in the field with us and communicated that way. That was a big improvement.
In 1985, a microwave communication system was installed to improve telephone, radio, computer, and load control throughout the 8-county service area. Since then, laptops, smartphones, tablets, and other internet-based technologies have dramatically changed how people communicate and do business. A true test of the Warren RECC's use of technology in communication arose during the devastating ice storm of 2009.
The storm has left more than 500,000 people across the state without power. As of 8 o'clock this morning, about 19,000 of those are Warren RECC customers. There are 152 contractors on site helping Warren RECC linemen to restore power to customers. Company retirees have also volunteered to help. Officials say between 400 and 500 poles were damaged as a result of ice and falling trees. The heaviest concentration of outages remains in Ohio, Grayson, Butler, and northern Edmonson counties. Officials say because of the devastating damage, it could be as long as 7 to 14 days before power is restored to all areas.
Winter storms continued over the next several days, eventually causing outages to over 30,000 Warren RECC members. It was exactly 3 weeks to the day when the last of the outages were restored.
It was very, very destructive in our county. It was very destructive in Grayson County. At one time, they did not have any power, I don't think, to anyone. We were without for 20-some days, but one thing that Warren Rural Electric did at the time, they were calling the individual judges to say, you know, here's where we're working today. That was very helpful because the public would call us and want to know, I've been without electricity 4 days, when are they going to be in my area? So due to the management and the leadership at Warren Rural Electric, they got so that we were given an update about 9 or 10 o'clock every morning, which really was helpful to the judges to know where they were working, what improvements were being made, what was accomplished yesterday, what the plans are for the remainder of the day and tomorrow, what locations are going to be working in, and very, very helpful.
These days, Warren RECC can pinpoint a problem area accurately with just a mouse click, helping to quickly restore power to its members. This is a huge improvement from the days of walking the lines, sometimes in rough terrain and weather, trying to find the damage and correct it, saving precious time and money. The cooperative has adapted its customer service and communication with its members through a strong web and social media presence.
I think today it's become more of how can we use electricity in a wise way that will optimize my electric bill, but also give me the service that I want to run not just the appliances anymore, but is the electricity quality of superior service to where I'm not getting a lot of blinks, for example, because now I have not just one PC in my house. All my family members may have a laptop, they may have a smartphone. My system now, my security system is now able to control lights in my house and control appliances in the future. I think we're going to see more of that as what people call today the smart home or the smart house. I think that's going to become more the norm. And so our role is not just necessarily providing reliability and cost so much anymore, but is providing a service which is a high quality service.
What would employees of the past think about the convenience modern technology offers us today?
He would have embraced all of it. I think he'd been very proud of anything that would have served the customer better and quicker and more efficiently. Then he was all about that. So, people can say, I wish for the good old days or whatever, but Dad never was really one of those. Good old days and values maybe, but Warren Electric was always just a big family. They really were.
We should have our members in front because they are the ones who own Warren Rural Electric. And for us, that's all we really need to remember is who are we owned by? Who do we work for?
I think the mission for Warren RECC hasn't changed much. We're still trying to provide a good energy source safely, reliably, and at a good price.
The cooperative was formed by the grassroots effort of rural people who sought a better way of life.
And we've often said that Warren Rural Electric is not a utility. We're a service organization, and that is the promise why we have done it in the past. That's the promise and dedication that I think the employees make to our members of the future. As always, as the people of the past have made service our number one goal, I pledge to you and to all the people that we serve, all our members, that service is going to be our number one goal in the next 50 years.
We only have one goal, and that's to make the members satisfied with the service they get of their electric cooperative. And that's what Warren RECC is all about.